Did you know that a lot of cat parents pet their cat's head incorrectly? Cats find this experience unsatisfying at best and at worst uncomfortable. It goes double for petting their head, and if constantly done incorrectly, it can seriously damage the bond between you and your cat. So if you love stroking your cat's head, because what cat parent doesn't, make sure you never make these 7 common mistakes. Mistake number 1. The first mistake that many people make when it comes to petting cats, especially if they're encountering a new cat for the first time, is to reach out their hand to touch their head. But wait, we hear you say, I thought that you were supposed to pet your cat on their head. You are? The issue isn't where you're choosing to pet your cat, but how. Most cats would love a good head scratch, but if the human offering it doesn't show proper manners, then things can go downhill fast. Think about how you'd feel if you were introduced to a new coworker for the first time and they reached out and grabbed your hand before you could offer it for them to shake. You'd be weirded out, right? A handshake is a polite gesture when one person holds out their hand to offer and the other person accepts by taking it. It's not about the handshake itself, it's about having the opportunity to say yes or no. Well, the same is true for petting a cat. Most cats, especially ones who are unfamiliar with the person attempting to pet them, will take an unexpected hand flying at their face as a threat. Instead, the wannabe petter should ask politely by slowly moving their hand towards the cat's nose to give them the chance to sniff their scent. The hand can then be extended again, slowly, to the top of the cat's head. If the cat accepts the offer of pets, they will lean in and make contact. If they're less keen, they'll let the person know by flinching away. Mistake number 2. Dogs and cats often appear side by side in popular culture. Whether it's in traditional phrases like raining cats and dogs, or in the form of classic characters like Garfield and Odie, these two popular pets are often depicted either pitted against each other or as unlikely friends. As a result, many people who only have proper experience with one of the two species tend to think of them as two sides of the same coin. Many cat lovers, whether they'd like to admit it or not, secretly think of dogs as larger, more trainable cats with waggly tails. Dog owners, meanwhile, will often think of cats as standoffish dogs that meow instead of bark. These misconceptions can cause all sorts of misunderstandings, but one of the worst is when a dog lover encounters a cat and attempts to pet them the way they would their canine companion. Cats are much smaller than most dogs, with lighter bones and less sturdy frames. The kind of petting that would be okay for a dog can actually hurt a cat or at least make them uncomfortable. Petting a cat should be done gently and carefully to ensure that the cat is having as much fun as the human involved. Mistake number 3, one of the best things about our cats is how soft and fluffy they are. Many cat lovers give in too easily to the temptation to ruffle that sweet little head and feel that floof, but that's not the good idea they think it is. A cat's fur should never be stroked against the grain. This can cause them discomfort and will force your kitty to spend time afterwards smoothing their fur down again. How would you like it if someone randomly mussed up your hair every time they felt like showing you affection? Instead, you should always pet your cat in the direction that their fur naturally grows, which means that when you start from the top of the head, you should be stroking them in the direction of their back and tail rather than towards their nose. Mistake number 4. Most cats love being petted on their heads, but that doesn't mean that they enjoy being petted on just any part of their head. They have strict preferences, and with a lot of cats, being pet in the wrong place will result in the offending human getting scratched. When petting a cat on the head, a human should restrict themselves mostly to the top of the head and the base of the ears. The ears themselves should not be touched, and most cats will make that very clear by flicking their ears away if anyone gets too close. The area around the eyes and the bridge of the nose are other places to stay away from. The most important area to avoid, however, is the whiskers, which are found on the forehead and cheeks. These long, ultra-sensitive hairs are your cat's tool of choice when it comes to sensing the world around them. They're so sensitive, in fact, that they can even pick up on changes in the air currents around your cat's body. If something as big and clumsy as a human finger touches them, therefore, it can cause the cat to go into sensory overload extremely quickly. It can even cause them pain. Mistake number 5, one of the most common complaints that non-cat lovers like to make about our furry friends is that cats will scratch while you're petting them for no reason. In reality, of course, there is usually a pretty good reason, and a cat that has been moved to scratch will typically have been giving off signs of annoyance long before things got to that point. Humans just have trouble picking up on them. The most blatant sign of feline distress to look for is a twitching tail. Cats use their tails to express their emotions. If a tail is moving, then that's a sign that the cat is experiencing stress or annoyance. A cat who is fed up with being petted will typically start off by gently twitching the end of their tail, progressing into more forceful twisting movements, and eventually lashing their tail and potentially scratching. Spotting the early signs can ensure that a petting session ends happily, if a bit earlier than you would like. Mistake number 6. As we mentioned at the beginning, cats groom themselves and each other by licking their fur. This means that whatever is on their fur is likely to get into their mouth along with the fur itself. This sounds gross, but it's not as bad as it sounds. Like many carnivores, cats have a strong stomach and a good immune system, which means that the odd bit of mud or dust that gets accidentally swallowed is unlikely to cause much of a problem. The same goes for the fur, which will be expelled in the form of a tangled up fur ball that your kitty will cough up later. Some things that your cat licks up, however, can be more dangerous. Certain types of flowers, such as lilies and tulips, can be deadly if ingested by your cat, even in small amounts. Common kitchen cupboard staples, such as coffee and chocolate, can also cause problems, ranging in severity from stomach upsets to heart palpitations to seizures. As such, if you have something on your hands that you think might be dangerous to your cat, especially if you've been handling decorative flowers or human food, it's a good idea to wash your hands thoroughly before petting your cat. This ensures that the next time they decide to have a bath, they won't accidentally lick up anything that turns out to be bad for them. Mistake number 7, cats look adorable whatever they're doing, but there are times when it's okay for their human family members to give in to the cuteness and times when they probably shouldn't. Mealtime is one of those latter times. Although a house cat shouldn't have to worry about where their next meal is coming from, old instincts die hard. In the wild, another animal sneaking up on your kitty while they're chowing down on food could mean that their supper was at risk of being stolen, or worse, that they were about to become some other animal's supper. As such, your kitty won't appreciate being petted during their mealtime, and if you do it often enough, they may even start avoiding their food bowl altogether. Instead, save the pets for after dinner, when they'll surely appreciate them more. If you want to learn why your cat deserves the best, check out our video on 7 shocking things your cat does for you every day that you don't even suspect. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe to The Cats Life for more cat tips and insights. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.